everyone, this is Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. And as you can see in front of me, I have a whole bunch of new dies from AliExpress. I love these dies. Most of them I have tested, and I have some examples here to show you. There are a few that I didn't test, but then also I wanted to tell you some that I had issues with. So this will be hopefully an informative video for you if you're searching for items from AliExpress, specifically for the dies. Now the first thing I'm going to show you is this sunflower die, and when I saw this, I fell in love with it because I love sunflowers, first of all, and then I love the fact that it had a frame on it and you could make one giant piece. And I will tell you, I've used this one and I made this card, but this card was not easy and it's not finished. I have to put a greeting on it yet, but I had a lot of problems turning this die into a card, and mostly because this edge is so thin, and when I was trying to adhere it to the back, you know, it bubbled right here. And then also I wanted to add different colors, so it was difficult to cut inside here having this frame to get another color behind it. Now, all that said, going forward, I would do this again, but I would do it differently. I would cut off the edges right here and take the frame away. And by doing that, I would allow myself just to be able to lay this flat on colored paper and cut around it easier. And then also my idea was to make a second one of this and stick it behind it so that it looked more like a layered sunflower. And I think if I cut this off as well, I tried to ink the edges here, but it would be easier to ink also without having that. And I think it would look still look good. The other thing I would say is if I did this, I might be tempted to do a shaker card with it, because I think you could take an acetate, which is clear, and adhere this to something that's clear, and it would you'd be able to cut it off without having it show, because it was very hard to cut around evenly. But all that said, I do really like the way this turned out. So that is one thing you can do with this die. And while we're on the sunflower kick, I will show you this border, and it's a floral border. When I first saw it, I thought immediately of sunflowers because of the pattern on the inside and then the circles around the edge. But then once I made something, I don't think it looks like a sunflower. But this is a really pretty border to put on a card. And actually, I'll show you. I'll just use this as a backdrop. And that would be really pretty. And you could actually layer these with multiple ones. I think it would look nice too. So that's that one. And next, I have this thankful tag and or die, I'm sorry. And I didn't make anything with this because it was a word, so I just kept it. But I thought this would be nice for Thanksgiving. Very thankful. The next one is another floral arrangement, and this is kind of like, I would say, a corner or a garland. It's got nice little flowers on the inside, and when I did this, I used a couple of different papers. I used a green like this, and then I did one in the polka dots, and what I did was I cut all the greenery off of the polka dot one, and I'm going to place it right here on some using some pop dots or some dimensional tape, and then I'm going to have a piece that is two-tone with some dimension, and I think that's going to look really pretty. Next, let's see, if we stay with the florals, I have the sun, and I've been wanting a sun because I could use it for different things, and I went ahead and did an example, and I love this example. I love the little stitching around it that I just think it's so cute and so whimsical. I don't know if you can see that real close. There you go. And all of these dies were very reasonable. I try to stick to around $40 when I'm buying dies from AliExpress. It's not like I say, oh, I'm over 40, I can't spend anymore. It's more than I just want to be able to stick in the same price range, so to give you kind of an idea of what things cost, because this is a lot of dies for $40. So the next one I got was this another floral kind of like coral corner piece, and I will tell you, I didn't really like my punches on this or my dies on this, and I think it's because of the paper I use behind it, because this has like an embossed look to it, but it's kind of hard to see with this color of paper. And it looks okay in the camera, but actually it looks better on the camera than it does in my hand. So that is another piece, but I think it's just, I could just experiment with it and do better. After that, I got a lot of leaves, thinking that this was, you know, fall, the leaves are going to be changing, and I wanted to get a lot of different styles to be able to do my crafts, you know, all different colored papers and things. So this set here came in like, let me see, I think, yeah, I think these 5 came together, or was it 6? I might be wrong, but they came in a group, and it's all different shapes of leaves, and I think they're great. This one even looks kind of like a clover. You could use that one for St. Patrick's Day. And I have some examples of these that I cut, so I'll put those aside. And here's one leaf, and I love this look because it kind of opens, and it has like slices open, but it doesn't separate. And that's the same with some of these other ones as well. And these I just made all yellow, but I did make some other colors. This one in green, and then this one in a brown, like a wood thing. So they are really sweet looking, very cute. Next up are these leaves, and this one here this is what it looks like when it's cut. I can think of all different kinds of ways to using it. And this one actually came with a flat leaf as well. And this is what it looks like with kind of like a wood pattern. And then more leaves. I just kind of went leaf crazy. But there are so many out there, and they're so reasonably priced. And a lot of the leaves are smaller, so they come in like groups of 2, 3, 4, 5, and things like that, and you can get a really good price. The only thing is when you're on AliExpress, don't take the first one you see. When you find one you like, put the description in the title bar, like just a few words from the description, so you know you're picking the same thing, and then check and see the prices. For instance, I saw a mermaid die that I wanted to get there, and it went all the way from like 94 cents up to like $4.50. So you just really have to look around if you know, to find a good price. Next, I got all these different kind of leaves. They're well, not different kinds, but some of them nest together like this. And I don't even, maybe that one doesn't fit right in there. Let me see. I should have kept these together. There's that one, and this one. All these came together. And then there's this one, and this one, and this one, this one, and this one. So there's 3 different sets of nesting leaf dies, and these are great because especially if you want to use different sizes in a project, because just having the different sizes will give some dimension. So I think that's really cool. And then I did some examples. This is the basil like embossed paper, and I did a second one like this, which you can just imagine that together. And if you use this as a flower instead of the sun, this would be really pretty. And let's see, we'll just move it up like that. Very cute. And then the last one was made out of this wood color paper. And I just think that's really cool. Now with the wood color paper, I took advantage and made I got some tree dies because, you know, it's fall. You need a lot of different trees for your craft projects. I know I do. So I got this one here with like lots of branches and leaves. And this came as a set also. And then I got this one. You can make lots of different scenes with this for cards. And then this one is like bare branches, and it came with this circle die, and I think it's meant to go on top of it like that. But I wanted to show you what it looked like with that put together, so you could kind of see how it would look. So I've got this one that's all the branches, just like that. And then I cut one of the circles to see how it would look. And what I think I'm going to have to do is put a different color paper, maybe a dark green or a red or an orange, whatever the season is, behind it, and then it will look nice. But right now the leaves, they all shine through the tree, so that's just a little hint with that one. And then let's see, we'll do this one. These are corner dies, and I think I showed you these in my teaser video. And I got these because I like to put corners on my mini books sometimes, and I thought I could make my own. Then when I tried to make it, it was very, very tricky. This is just a piece of paper I made, and I put it, it's using the Michael's Recollection boho paper that has a little bit of gold embellishments on it, and I think it turned out really pretty. The only thing I would suggest is run it through a lot of through the Sizzix, because these are very intricate, and if they don't cut really neatly, then you have to, like, I use my little Hutter Bee scissors, I think that's what they are, or something like that. They're little yellow ones, and I was able to get down inside the grooves, but that's something just to remember that it's tricky. One thing I forgot to show you are some of the leaves that I did that matched those other big leaves. I forgot to show you the cutouts. This one I think is especially sweet because you can see a pattern on it. Can you see that? And it just shows up beautifully. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting to see the Halloween and fall dies. So I gave you a little teaser, and now I'm going to jump in and show you some of them. So first off, let's go with the scary tree, because I got a lot of comments on this and a lot of inquiries about where to buy this tree. And my best advice is to go to AliExpress and just start, you know, typing in descriptions. I used Halloween and haunted house, scarecrow, things like that to search. And then also, for those of you who do not want to shop at AliExpress for specific reasons, either you don't find the site reliable or safe, or you don't want to contribute to designs that may be similar to other designers, because I haven't seen any that are direct rip-offs of anybody, but that doesn't mean that they're not there. It just means I haven't found them in my searches. Now, I have found things that are very similar, but they're enough different that it is different. And most of the ones on AliExpress I think are going to be a little simpler than the dies that you would find from a local designer. But all that said, if I will try to find some links to Amazon where you can buy some of these. They're not all going to be available, but whatever I can find, I will put down in the description below for those of you who want these dies but you don't want to shop at AliExpress for whatever reason. This one is the haunted house or haunted tree, and this is what it looks like. And see, you can see all the little grooves, and you could really make this look spooky. I would maybe put some black soot, distress ink on the edges, and I don't know whether I'd put black paper behind it or yellow paper, but there's a lot of stuff you could do. And this is kind of like, I think it was the same paper as, let's see, I think it was the same paper as this, only it didn't have the gold. So that's pretty cool. And this was very easy to cut out. I didn't have any troubles with this at all. Next I have some spooky words, and I will say these are, they're okay. They're nice words. They're not as nice as you're going to get from like Tim Holtz or something like that, but they do serve a purpose. They are stuck pretty good to this cardboard, so that's why I don't have any examples yet. Spooky, boo, haunted house, and Halloween. And I still think these have a good use and a good purpose. Next, let's go with this gate, because this has to be another one of my all-time favorites that I've gotten. And I love this for card making because it is the perfect size for a card, as you can see there. And then when you cut it out, it is awesome. Look at that. And that would just set a nice scene for a card. I think that's really, really cool. So, and especially if you use this like jack-o'-lantern die, and you can put that there, or you can put lots of different jack-o'-lanterns all around the fence and make a really cool design that way. So I just love the wrought iron fence, or yeah, fence. I was going to say gate, but there's no gate. It's a fence. And I did not have any trouble with all these intricate little designs. There was no trouble cutting it out at all. And then that leads us to the jack-o'-lantern with the little evil little grin there. And I did not cut out any of this either, only because I didn't have the paper I wanted to use. Okay, so we talked about the fence. Now let's look at a haunted house. So this is the haunted house. And I love this. I could put anything I want behind it to add to the scene. And I did do a cutout. Here it is, and I will put it on this background so you can see it fits the size of a card perfectly. And this is a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base, and it is just gorgeous. If you had like a I did this in like a smoky gray kind of haunted house feel color, and I could put different colors behind the windows, or I could just use a card like maybe I think a good way to use this is if you use the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink and made like a different color black and purple background, maybe on watercolor paper or some other kind of paper, and then put this on top of it, and it would look kind of like an eerie night in the background, and I think that would be really cool. And so I'm very happy with this, and there some of the places were a little tricky to get out, but as you can see, I didn't have any trouble. I just used my little I have one of those little poker tools, again from Tim Holtz. You can't tell who I like, right? I like Graphic 45, I like Tim Holtz, and I will mention them all the time, but that's what I used, and I didn't have any trouble just popping them out, and I think it's really cool. Next, I have this little clock and gear die, and this is one that I thought did look like some other designers, but it was different enough that that I could see, okay, if I wanted the other ones, I could have both and it would be just fine. So this is what it looks like as the die, and then this is what it looks like on like with the background, and I think this is super cool. You could use this in gold paper, silver paper, black paper like I did, or brown paper, anything. You could put all different colors on this to give the impression of a different patina to this old gears. So this is really cool, and I would have put this in my, I did a vintage little mini book that I uploaded not too long ago, and I wanted to put one of these in it, but I just didn't have the time before I had to record this video. And I'll show you the spider spider web, because this was in my teaser video. And again, I really love this. And the spider is so scary and so creepy. So I want to show you the spider on this background, because I used a textured paper, and I don't know if you can see it in here in this, but I used a textured paper, so there's some design element to it, and it is just really creepy. And I think if you use like a glitter paper, black glitter, that would look even like, make it look like it's fuzzy. Ooh. This little cute little die I had in my teaser video as well. It's a gate with the cat sitting on the pumpkin. I did not cut one of these out, only because I wanted to do it in white, and I had a few others to do in white so that I could color them, and so I didn't do this one. Oh, let's go with the skeleton next, because I freaking love this. I love this skeleton. And so I will tell you, there's good and some bad about this skeleton though. First of all, the good is that once you cut it, it wiggles, so that it really gives you the impression that the bones are just hanging together. So that is really awesome. The bad part is that you have to really cut this, because I had to manually cut out some of the rib bones there, and it made it a little sloppy. But otherwise, I love this die. It's just a little, you just have to be really careful there. But isn't that so cute? I mean, it's just so delicate, the whole thing. It just wiggles. I just think that's adorable. And then I have a scarecrow, which I also think is adorable. Now, there is another skeleton die out there from Tim Holtz that I want to get, because I think it's much better than this. I think this is a little, I would say, simplistic compared to his. So I want to have both, because his looks more authentic, I will say that. This is more cartoonish, but this is what it looks like, and I still think it's really pretty awesome. It doesn't look scary, which I wanted something that's scary, but otherwise you could put this on a little piece of, I would say like a piece of stick or like a branch or something, and kind of glue that on top, and it would look like he's hanging, because of the way his arms are. It looks like he's hanging. So that's really cute, and I'm going to color this. And then I have this little thing, mostly for Thanksgiving, and this is a little difficult to see what it is, but it's basically leaves, a pumpkin, and some curly little like branches, or like the stuff you get on the pumpkin, on the vine, the little curly vines. And that's what this is. And when it cuts out, it's very delicate and like an outline, and it would be very easy to color, because you wouldn't have to color much spaces. I have this, now I have some light fixtures, and this one here is kind of like a wall sconce or a wall light, a lantern, and it's very easy to imagine this being, you know, like in a spooky little scenery or something. So that's pretty cool. I did this in like a gray color as well. And then one of my favorite pieces, oh, and I see I didn't poke this out. There's some of the inside here, but I'll show it to you anyway. This is a lamp post, and this is what I did it. I did it in the wood. I love this so much, and I think it would be good in black as well, but I wanted something besides black, and it just is really awesome. It's got this, because the kind of paper I used gives it a different textured look. It's just kind of like a wood grain paper, so that's pretty cool. So that's one of my, I think another one of my favorites. I mean, guess I pretty much love them all. I have a chandelier, and I love the chandeliers because I think they can be really creepy or they can be elegant. And this one has a lot of different design elements to it. I will show you, like, I think in one of my other hauls from Tuesday morning, I bought this chandelier. And this one, no, this is not a chandelier, this is a candelabra. Sorry about that. But this candelabra and this kind of, I thought, went together. And I used this one on the back of one of my mini albums for my Master Detective books that I made, which that video will be coming out shortly. And then this one I did this time, and this is what it looks like. And that is so nifty. And you can imagine this hanging from a ceiling, or you could even imagine it as a tabletop if you wanted to use this as a ornate candelabra. So that's really nice. And I'm really happy with both of these. And then next, oh, love the Scream. This was also in my teaser video. Look how cute that is. And then this is the cutout. And what's interesting is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like embossed on the sides. And this will be really cool on a black background. Very nice. And the last thing I got in my fall Halloween haul from AliExpress is this awesome dragon. And I'm all about Game of Thrones right now. It's in full, we're getting towards the end of Game of Thrones. And I am just like obsessed with this show. And so when I saw this, it just reminded me of the dragons on Game of Thrones. So anyway, that is my entire haul from my fall and I guess Halloween searches on AliExpress. I'm very pleased with everything. I think that most of the dies turned out better than I expected, because let's face it, when you're buying from AliExpress, you really don't know what you're going to get until you get it. But this is my second, I mean, I purchased from AliExpress a lot, especially washi tape, but this is like my second haul on dies, and I am like just obsessed with it right now, because there are so many on there and you just can get so much more for your money. So anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you have a really good day, and if you give AliExpress a try, I would love to know your comments or your feedback. Or if you don't want to participate in ordering from AliExpress, that's totally valid, and I will try to put as many links as I can find below, so that if you want to find these not shopping from AliExpress, that's also your prerogative. And as a side note, before I leave, I will tell you that AliExpress is now accepting PayPal, and PayPal does offer an extra layer of security. So thanks a lot, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.